All right. Welcome back, Ship to Shore Podcast, episode 7. My name's Corey.
7.
Okay, her name's Hannah.
This is Hanna, and this is episode 7. Welcome back.
Yeah. We took a break last time. It was fun.
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna say, what a time.
Say it. Oh,
Um,
man. Yeah, we're glad to be back.
we're glad to be back,
We took the
and
longest break in between episodes that we have recording, and getting back into the mindset of recording has been difficult.
you like our new
So,
studio?
yeah, we're on the couch.
Yeah, we're on the couch. Um, we're also doing this at nighttime for the
Yes.
first time.
Yeah. I think the first episode we recorded at night. Other than that, it's all been
That was more
daytime.
like evening, though.
Yeah, we came home early from dinner to record.
It is late AF right now. We had just life happen,
We have shit to
and
do.
yeah, life happened, and here we are. Recording this really, really late. Um, I wanted to remind everyone about a post that went up last week, I believe it was.
Hmm?
It is our contest post.
Yeah.
So if you want to enter that, it's super easy. Go to our Instagram or Facebook, find the contest post, which will be pinned at the top, like it, tag all the people you want to, and then
Everyone.
share it publicly. If you rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really anywhere, you get 10 extra entries.
Ooh, okay.
And
What do
this
they
will
get?
last till May 31st. The winner so far will get a hand painted piece of art by me.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't decided which one yet because I'm really putting a lot of thought and love into it. And then we're hoping that we can also have some other prize or prizes that we add as the month goes on, and just see what we can
Maybe
come
a
up
piece of
with.
art by Shepherd.
Better Shepherd than Sawyer.
Yeah, hopefully. I would never tell him that. Totally. Yeah.
Sawyer could be artistic. He doesn't have the patience or like the
Mm-mm.
attention span to be
No.
artistic.
No, he'd rather jump over something.
Yeah, parkour.
Yeah.
Hardcore all the time. I also wanted to mention that if you hear a little tip tap,
Yeah, if that picks up on the mic, or some whining,
he
or
got a puppy.
so if we jump up screaming, it's probably because there's about to be a massive dump dropped on the floor. We're still working on that. We're
She's
90% there.
Yeah, she's a Shepsky. She's 9 weeks old. She's so sweet. Her name is
She's
Maggie.
probably in the thumbnail of this video if you're watching, so
Probably,
you've
and if
probably seen her.
not, check out our social media. I'll post a picture. So yeah, we're going to be dog sitting, trying not to wake our kids up, and recording this episode.
So
We're here for it.
there'll probably be a lot of edits.
Nah, I'm like a pro at editing now.
For real. No, but the contest, sharing all that stuff, get it out there, because we we're getting listeners from farther across the country than we really thought or expected. Not a lot of downloads, but when you go into the stats and you look at it, there's a lot in Alabama. But when you go around, there's at least 6 in every surrounding state, and then you go, Virginia,
New
North Carolina, New
York?
York, Washington,
Didn't you say
Alaska,
Alaska?
Alaska, one in the UK, whoever that is. Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
are listening right now and you live in Alaska, you have to DM us. Like
please.
right now,
Yeah.
you're automatically the first guest on our show.
Oh yeah, zoom in for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
amazing because that would be like my dream place to live.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, like I was so surprised by like New York, uh other
Yeah.
countries.
It'd be really cool to be able to ship a piece of art that you made, like, across the country to somebody.
Oh, and I will do it.
Yeah,
If you're
100%.
listening right now and you
Yeah.
live anywhere far from Alabama, hit me
We'll
up.
cover the shipping. It might be a smaller piece of art, but we'll cover the
No, I
shipping.
got some great, cool stuff I could send you. Not to mention, we want to start bringing guests on soon.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to sort of get I mean, we obviously have like 100 people in our head that we want
Yeah.
as guests, but, yeah, that was so cool. And like, these are not just have looked at our, whatever. These
Yeah.
are downloads
Yeah.
from these states.
Wild.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. And there is a lot I didn't think we'd see this many downloads
No,
until like
I expected friends and
6
family
months.
to like throw us a bone for a little while, and then we'd just be doing it for us, pretty much. But
Yeah,
this is cool.
yeah,
I'm glad we're reaching people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank y'all so much. And we're continuing our story today.
Yes, back at it.
So, there are still some doozies to our story. We broke up the monotony last week. We had some things on our heart and mind we wanted to share, but we're back to our story today, and we're picking up with the day that little Shep was
Little
born.
shepherd.
He
October
was,
25th.
man, I was so miserable at the end of that pregnancy and just like, please, I'll do anything. Like,
Miserable is an understatement. It was all you were in so much pain. Those last few weeks, like
yeah,
I
I was
just like don't
bedridden,
yeah, just lay there. It's cool. We're gonna go to the hospital in a week or
a
two.
beached fucking whale.
Hmm. You shouldn't have agreed to that so fast.
No. Uh-huh. Yeah. Don't go back and look at my Facebook profile pictures from that time because I'm gonna tell y'all how much I weighed. When I got to the hospital when I was pregnant with Shepherd, I weighed 220.
No
220.
way.
It's the most I've ever weighed.
Me too.
And like
We
I'm
were the
all
same.
about body positivity, but like for my body type, and that was very large for
Well,
me.
for at least half of that pregnancy, they were like, "Don't do it. You can't do anything. Like you're in a lot of danger. Like you and the baby are in danger. Don't do anything." And so I was like, "What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?"
Well, and then she was like the first one that sort of like got on to me about how much weight I had gained. You
Really?
remember that?
I don't remember that.
Or no, was that
I might,
Dr.
I might, I might.
Harbin?
Maybe I wasn't at that appointment.
I might have told you about that. But one time I went to an appointment and they were like, oh my gosh, you gained 15 pounds in
Say it
six
like
weeks.
that. They said it like that.
Yes, because they want that's too much and they want you to like not, cause yourself to have like, what is it called?
Gestational diabetes.
Yeah, or like the blood pressure thing that makes you have to deliver early. I don't know, but they were like, "Wow," and I was like, I mean, is that a lot? 15 pounds in 6 weeks?" And she was like, "Yeah, they say eating for 2, but like, no, it's the size of a peanut." So,
He wasn't even as big as Sawyer.
yeah, I gained a lot of weight fast, but I think a lot of different things contributed to that pregnancy just being painful, horrible. I was ready for it to be over, but we delivered at St. Vincent's. And it was a totally different experience, wouldn't you say?
That was great. The
It
whole experience was night and day different from the first
a
hospital that
breeze.
we went to.
A fucking
Yeah,
breeze.
the people were great. The food was better at the hospital. Food was great.
Well, it's like, okay, with Sawyer, it was an emergency situation. So it was like I had tried to dilate or whatever they want you to do, and he wasn't progressing. But once you have that first C-section, I guess they're like, well, now you can have the option. So they were like, "Do you want to go ahead and schedule it?" And I was like, "Well,
Yeah,
yes, 100%." So we walked in, and 45 minutes later, they were like,
yeah. Here you go.
"Here's your
Yeah.
baby
Well,
shepherd."
because we went in so much more calm and prepared. We thought, because we had done that before, but you still had issues because they took you into the operating room first again,
Hmm.
and did you almost throw up or you
I actually puked when I
okay, you did
had
puke.
Shepherd, and I had like sort of a panic attack, because
Like
I'm
as
just,
they were administering anesthesia.
yeah, I was having a panic attack because they were about to have to do the needle in my spine. And if you remember from the other episode we talked about it with
Mm,
Sawyer, I had a terrible
Kink that
experience.
sucker up inside your spine.
Like
Mm,
nerve pain is on another level. It's like you can't
dude,
even describe it.
when they put that needle in you with Sawyer, I was behind you, like just trying to stay out of the way, but the noise that you made when they put that needle in your back was unlike anything I've ever heard. That scared me worse than anything because I was like, "What the fuck did they just do to her?" No
Like
one's ever made that noise.
I felt like they hit like a big red button with an X on it. And it was like, "Meh," and my whole body was just like,
And they're like, "Okay, we'll see how that works." And
like,
you're like, "I think it only worked on half."
no, that fucking asshole at that hospital.
We'll edit.
No, but the anesthesiologist, I was contracting as he was giving me the spinal, and the nurse, my sweet precious nurse, was like, "Hold on just a second." He was like, "We can't hold on, it's too late." And I was like, "Ugh." And he said, "Don't move, don't move." And then whatever, he
God,
lost
that was
track of.
awful.
It was so bad. He was
Yeah,
terribly
night
mad
and
at
day
me.
experience. So we were so you're in the OR at St. Vincent's, and you started to freak out, and they were like, "Hit her with the juice," and they hit you with it, and you were like, "Well, I feel
Well,
great."
and I told him, I was like, bad experience last time. I'm like panicking right now. And I was shaking so bad that they were like, they make you hunch over, ladies. You know what I'm talking about. Make you hunch over. And I was just like, and she was like,
I
"Oh,
wasn't in the room
honey,
yet.
are you nervous?" And I was like,
No, it's just fucking here.
nervous is an understatement. I feel like I am dying. And she was like, "It's going to be okay." They gave me something great in the IV.
Something that rhymes with Falloted.
And then all of a sudden I was just like, "What, babe?"
What you talking? Where am I? Yeah.
But then as soon as I laid down, I was like, "I think I'm gonna throw up." And they were like, "No, you won't throw up." And I was like, and they were like, "She's puking, she's puking." And they were like, "Give her this, give her this." And they gave that to me. And it was just like, it just kept going. And I remember the third time, he was like, "Give her some more." And he was like, "I've already given her this much." And he kind of said it under his breath. And he was like, "Give her some more." And then that fourth dose of whatever it was, I was finally like,
Both times you went to the hospital to give birth, they just lit you up with medicine. God, dog. And see, like, I'm outside in the room again, like wearing the stupid things they make you wear with that stupid hat. And they come out and they're like, she had a little bit of an issue, but she'll be fine. And just walks right back into the thing, and I'm like, what now? What happened this time?
dude. And if that, like, back to the puking, if have you ever puked laying down with your head flat, but that's
Not
how
that
they
I
make
know.
you do it because at that point you're numb, like chest down, you're
Yeah.
numb. And so you
Mm.
can't, they've got your arms like this, and you just literally have to be like, so I
Just
thought
like
that
running down
aspirate.
your mouth. Oh, it's awful.
Real
Ugh.
quick thing though, the anesthesiologist at St. Vincent's was wonderful because I started having a panic attack. They numbed me so far up that I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I started to have a panic attack and I was like, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And he was like, he grabbed my hand and he put it on my chest and he was like, "Feel your chest rise and fall. You're breathing just." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." I mean, I was fine after that. Everything was golden. Like I felt great. Excellent.
Yeah,
Felt awesome.
you were shot up.
And then Shepherd was
Yeah, he
born.
was great. The anesthesiologist was really great to us up until he tricked me into looking at your guts.
I
Up until that
forgot. I
moment, yeah.
forgot.
Because when we had Sawyer in the C-section, they have that big curtain there, if anyone's ever been in that room before. Um, and when they got Sawyer out and they showed him to us and took him across the room to the incubator, they said, "Dad, you can come look at him now, but don't turn around and look at your wife. Just eyes forward with the baby, and then we're gonna guide you back over here." And I said, I had no idea why. I said, "Yeah, you got it, man. I trust you." But with Shepherd, the anesthesiologist was talking to us the whole time sitting there. He was so cool. And they pulled Shepherd out, and he turned to me and goes, "They got him, Dad. He's beautiful. Take a look at him, Dad. Stand up and look at him." I was all excited. I stood up to
Red
look at him,
flag.
and just you were inside out. And it was I looked at him and I was like, "What did you be looking at?"
Dude.
It was
Oh,
mm, and I
and
love you just the same. Nothing changed, but I've seen you inside and out put back together.
dude, and they even went as far as they got your phone and they took
Mhm.
pictures of me filleted open, like pulling Shepherd out,
One of the
like
nurses grabbed it, yeah.
his first breaths.
Yeah.
And then they went and did you edit them to
No, she
black and
did
white?
that.
She went in and edited them all to black and white so that it wouldn't
Yeah.
be just
Yeah. I still have all those pictures,
fucking
yeah.
carnal.
Yeah, she never got any of you,
Hmm.
but it would have been a messy picture if
Dude,
it
it would
was in
just look
black and
like
white. Ugh, all cheesy.
Oh, man, and you got to hold him first. He was 8
Yeah.
pounds, 7 ounces. He was smaller than Sawyer, which is strange because I was large and in charge.
I think we were overcompensating for how big Sawyer was. Right, the second one's gonna be even bigger.
Well, every appointment, they were like, "Oh, he's gonna be a 10-pounder."
Hmm.
And so I was like, "Oh, that
They're looking at
explains
you and
all
they
this
said,
weight
"Oh, he must
gain."
be a 10 pounder."
They said, wide load coming through."
Well,
Um, it's fine though, because, uh well, I'll talk about that in a second because that's a whole another funny thing about my thinking that I'd lost a bunch of weight after the baby came out and, like, surprise, you have to actually do shit to lose weight. So, um everything was great, like, fantastic. We got back to the room and, like, I got to hold him as we rolled back to the
Mhm,
room. Sawyer's there, my mom, my grandmother, which will
mhm.
forever, my mammy, that will forever be so special to me that
Well,
she was
my
there.
parents were there. Were they in the room? Yeah, they were in
Your
the room.
parents, Carson,
And Carson got to come. That's right.
mhm,
Shout out Carson.
and y'all, it was such a better experience because I was like, I
Yeah,
got to present
you were
him.
lucid
Yeah.
with him instead of with Sawyer. You were still so fucked up. Yeah.
My life, my limbo. Um, and
But
it
then here
was,
comes Shepard.
oh God, you going straight to hell for that. Baby, if you listen to this years from now,
I
we
love
love
you.
you.
It's gone now, and I wish it. Well, sometimes if he's just real upset, and if he hurts his shin.
So Shepherd, they took some pictures of him, and I noticed in the pictures that, like, one side of his mouth was, like, drawing to the side, like a stroke victim or something. And
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, he has asymmetrical crying face." And it's apparently when the baby gets in your womb and, like, they get mashed up against something, it kills some of the
Hmm.
nerves in one side of their mouth, so
Yeah.
it's like can't move.
Yeah. Well, they're acting like it was no big deal, but you look like Two-Face.
I said, "Oh my goodness," and I was like, "Well, will it get better?" And they were like, Most of the way." And truly, I mean,
Oh
nobody
yeah.
knows
Yeah.
that.
Nobody
Like,
knows.
we have to tell people this
And
story.
like people didn't really notice when he was young either. It was really only us, but it was so pronounced. It was so.
When he gets really mad now, it's like,
My favorite is when he's really focused on something, like the video game earlier, and he gets that tongue going. He just gets it
dude,
going like
I'm
this.
posting that video on our
I hope you do.
stories.
It's so funny.
I'll post that on our story Saturday or Sunday, but, yeah, so I was like, "Oh, man, that sucks, but he's so awesome, he's beautiful," and Sawyer was so excited, and, there's another picture I'll share. It was a picture that you or my mom one took of me, Sawyer, and Shepherd all in the hospital bed right after that
Mhm.
moment. My favorite picture of all time. Um, and everything was great, like, I mean, I felt pretty good, like, I wasn't having any complications, everything was awesome. And here I am. We've got 2 kids. You took Sawyer
Now
back
what?
to T-Town,
Mhm.
and I was still in Birmingham with my mom.
They go trick or treating. You were still
Mhm.
in the hospital that weekend.
Yep. And, Shepherd was so much smaller than we thought. My mom had to go buy him clothes
Yeah,
in
all the clothes we got
Birmingham,
were too big.
because we had to get some newborn stuff. Cause Sawyer started that baby,
Oh,
juicy
he came
baby.
home in 3-month clothes, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
He was
100%.
big. He was so huge.
And I think it was that evening
Yeah.
after I had him, my one of the doctors at the hospital came in and was like, "Hello, Miss Inzer. Um, I'm Doctor So and so, and I hear that you want to exclusively bottle feed, not breastfeed, right? Like formula." And I was like, "1,000,000%." Because breastfeeding didn't work for me, if you remember from the last episode. A lot of people can do it. I couldn't. Um, and he was like, "Well, I have some exciting news to share." And so here I am like, "What the fuck is this guy?" And he was like, "Pretty much we're running this clinical trial on this formula. And if you will come see us once every 3 months with, like, fecal samples and, like, record all of his bowel movements and blah, 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 you'll get this free formula for a year."
Mhm. Heard that. Free formula? That's all I
And
heard was free
I
formula.
was like, "Okay." And he was like, "It's pretty much the same as what, like, we would recommend you use," is what the formula is made of, this
Mhm.
clinical trial
Well,
formula.
and we might not have even gotten the clinical trial formula. It might have been regular Similac. It was a
Placebo or
it could have been a placebo, or it could have been this new formula.
but either way, that man wasn't even done with his sentence. I said, sign me up.
And we were convinced that since it was St. Vincent's, we're like, it can't be like harmful to
Yeah.
him.
This man looked like
We discussed it a
Beethoven.
lot. It wasn't like we immediately said, yes, we're going to do this. We were like, okay, free formula for a year is huge. Is it going to make him, is it going to turn him into the Hulk? Or is it going to, is it going to be normal? Is he going to grow an extra ear? Like, let's be for real about this. What's
That
going to
might
happen?
be kind of tight. I just playing. We jokingly made lots of references, but at the end of the day, we were like, I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen, you know?
At worst, something bad happens and he gets his college paid for by St. Vincent's. No, that's not why we thought that.
This is not our first experience with clinical trials, Corey and I.
Yeah, we didn't bring that up when we talked about your first pregnancy.
We always hustle it. I talk about
$1 make me holler, baby. Anything for $1.
literally do anything.
We've been broke our whole age. We ain't got shit. So we can make a little bit of coin, man.
It's so funny because it's not just that, but like we were raised to know the value of $1.
Yeah.
Like, we had what we needed, but we weren't in excess by any means. So it's just so funny because in college they used to like that's what I was known for. Is like I would do anything for
Oh,
$1.
don't say it like that.
I would do any dare for $1. I'm talking about not nasty stuff. I'm talking about like gross stuff, like eat this green bean out of the sink
Oh,
that's been
God.
sitting there for 3 weeks. I'd be like, for $1,
That's not me.
give me that green bean.
That's not my life.
But anyway, so these girls I worked with when we lived in Huntsville, this is, before I was pregnant with Sawyer. They were like, dude, we found this like doctor who's giving away like $500.
Just giving it away.
I was
Here you
like,
go.
I mean, we were young and dumb. I was like, dude, who? Can I sign up? And she was like, yeah. And actually, I think I get an extra credit if I refer you. And I was like, bro, I'm going today. So I went, and it was literally like a 2-hour thing. I had to fill out this stack of papers like this tall. And they were like, we're going to give you this shot for this vaccination we're testing. And you have to keep coming back and like get more shots every so often. And we pay you every time you come until you reach like this max amount. And they looked at us all. We were in a little group and they were like, we strongly advise that you do not become pregnant while doing any clinical trial. It's because none of this has been tested and blah, blah. They made it like it was a huge thing. And if you become pregnant, you've got to let us know and blah, blah, blah. Well, it was about 2 weeks after that that I found I was pregnant with Sawyer.
How many shots did you get? Just the one?
I had 2.
2.
Because I think I went 1 week and then I went back the next week for another one. And then
Yeah, we needed
you
that
got
money.
sick.
We had bills to pay.
I probably was sick with pneumonia
we were-
from those shots.
Oh,
Dude.
it's been 11 years. No, it's been 9 years. How long since you got pregnant? And we just never
I
realized that.
just put that together. It was literally like 2 weeks.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Dang.
That's so scary.
So
So,
whenever you were sick, oh God.
and like the packet that I signed was liability for if I die. Like, and I was like, $500? Sign me up.
Now I didn't know any of that when you came home and were like, hey, I signed up for this clinical trial. They're going to pay me to get these shots. And I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then you got pregnant a couple weeks. I didn't know that they told you not to get pregnant until like Sawyer was a couple years old. And you're like, you remember that thing I did? They emphasized a bunch of times, do not get pregnant. And I did.
Dude. But what made it worse and even more sketchy is like the place itself was very sketchy where we were having these shots done. The doctors were super sketchy and like secretive and like sneaky and weird.
What?
And like when so look,
Is that why he's so big? Is that why he's so strong and good at everything?
check it out. This is how it went down. So had a couple shots. Then I found out I was pregnant with Sawyer and I just never went back, never called. My friends at work were like, girl, they've been asking about you. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, they want to know, like, where you've been, why you're not coming in for your shots. They have been trying to call you. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm pregnant. I ain't trying to tell them all that. And I don't really want to know what the,
Did you ever tell him?
I think eventually a girl did get in touch with me and it was a brief conversation and she was very like perturbed. It was obvious that she was pissed, or I don't know if I messed up the whole thing or what. Sorry if
Dang,
you listen to
whatever.
this years from now.
Well,
But yeah.
if Sawyer gets drafted by the NBA, then we'll just call him and thank him, because that'll be why.
What was crazy is like it took me a few months into pregnancy before that all hit me because I was so like wrapped up in,
Yeah.
oh shit, we're pregnant, you know? And all of a sudden one day I was like, oh my God, is he gonna have like a few heads?
Dang.
And then the anatomy appointment confirmed he was all right. But
We be taking risks.
so anyway, clinical trials and us. And if you know of any good ones, you know, DM us. We'll check it out and who knows, you know?
Mine might have changed on that now in my old age. Might not let somebody just shoot me up with stuff.
Nope. For how much? I mean, why not? Whatever.
Can you
Like
make the check out the
YOLO.
cash?
We live one life. I'm just trying to
Yeah, but I'm
make a
trying to make
dollar.
it as long as possible.
Yeah, that's true. I do
Dang.
have the lynch.
Yeah, the lynch.
So that was a funny side
You're
note.
just
We
gonna
just
breeze
had to
past
bring that up because I think it's funny that we have experimented with 2 clinical trials in our marriage, and most people don't even know, like, how to sign up for one, and we're
Yeah,
like,
they
"Oh,
just get dropped in our lap.
I know a guy." Like, got you. Um, but we brought Shepherd home from the hospital, and obviously adjusting to life with 2 kids and another newborn. Sawyer's 4 at this
Mm-hmm.
time. He had just turned
We just turned
4.
4.
Um, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt a lot of resentment. I felt like I was losing that time with Sawyer because I was used to, like, it just being us, you know? And I
Yeah.
resented my new baby. And I remember talking to you about it. Do you remember that
Yep.
night? We talked about it, and I was like, I feel very scared and, like, terrible that I feel this way. But I felt myself slipping back
Yeah.
into that postpartum
And
place.
we really thought we were gonna have a handle on it that time because we had addressed all that before we had seen it. We knew what was coming. We knew what to expect. And it's hard with it's always hard with a new baby, but 2
Mhm.
kids, I mean, people do it with 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, so, like, it's not like it's, anything extra difficult that we did, but damn, like,
Yeah.
we really underestimated how our time would be split. We thought we're just gonna handle this shit, we're just gonna tag team it, but it was tough.
Yeah, because the
And then we're gonna
newborns
move.
want mom.
Yeah.
So you were with Sawyer, and I felt trapped in that sort of
Mhm.
dynamic we had for a little while.
And you and Sawyer are so close, and
Mhm.
y'all spent so much time together one on one when he
Mhm.
was little.
It was hard for both of us. I
Yeah.
think we both had to work through that. Um, Not to say that Shepherd has I could not breathe without my Shepherd. He is
Oh,
so
goodness, no.
precious to me now, but I'm just bringing that up because I feel like a lot of moms feel too guilty to say that,
Yeah.
but it needs to be said. You
Yeah,
can be mad at
it's
your new baby.
totally like, all of the things that you're going through immediately after having a child, like, dude, whatever you're thinking, like, it's normalized, it's okay, you know? I mean, not anything. There are women that drown their babies in the lake. That's not okay. Don't do that.
Those stories make me sick.
It's yeah.
Um,
But feeling resentment uh, towards a new baby for taking time away from your other children is totally normal.
yeah. And the newborn experience with Shepherd was much easier than Sawyer. You know, he didn't have colic. And
Mhm.
I remember, I'll
He
never
was a
forget,
jerk, though.
well, that came when he like hit where he could speak and make his opinions known. But I will always have the image in my head of that our big king size bed and like the pillow at the top and little Shepherd just laid in the middle of the pillow, you know, just like,
At the other house?
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah.
My my memory like that for him is in that house, but we would like for the time we brought him home, we just made the living room like one big pallet of blankets and pillows, and
Mhm.
it would just be his area, from the time that from all he could do was just lay and look at you. So when he would just start rolling all over it, like that was my favorite. That was so much fun because then Sawyer would get down with him and just nuzzle him and kiss him. And he's such a good big brother. He gets annoyed
Mhm.
with him. Um, I don't know if it'll be out when this comes out, but the ship to shore with Saw and Shep is recorded and edited, and it is awesome. And I can't wait for y'all to hear what they have to say. It's so fun.
It's
Oh man,
so
I can't wait to do
fun.
more of those with them.
It's so fun. Especially fun knowing that we have kids that have speech disfluencies, and they did such an amazing job so confidently. I'm so
They're
proud.
not scared to get on a mic and talk and
Mhm.
work through it and stutter or whatever, which is something I would have never done when I was their age and I was struggling with all that. Like I would have never wanted to get on a mic or in front of people or anything,
Mhm.
to ever do something like that. I'm really
Yeah.
proud of them.
It makes me so proud. That was a side note. But it's super cute.
Mhm.
Um, so, I think the thing that sent me that I was felt feeling the worst off about after Shepherd was born was I felt like we were falling back into a place where we weren't communicating. We were not seeing each other a lot because I was constantly doing for Shepherd, you were doing for Sawyer, and it was just like, again, we're separating our lives and just trying to put out all the fires and whatever. Um, but like I said, I weighed 220 when I had Shepherd, and so when I got home from the hospital, I was like, well, surely with all the fluid and the baby, the whole entire baby, um, that I'll have lost, like 20 pounds, and then I'll just have to work for the rest, whatever. And can I tell you that scale said 211
For real?
when I got home from the hospital, and Shepherd weighed 8 pounds and 7 ounces. So that means I was just gigantic. So I was super depressed about, and that's very vain. And I know that it's totally normal, but these are all feelings that people have
Yeah.
and that husbands and wives talk about. And it's embarrassing, right? Because your whole body has been like, fuck you for 9 months, and now you're like, oh, here I am with the delicious leftovers. And it's,
Oh, you call it that?
that's what it looks like. Looks like friggin' mashed
Mashed
potatoes.
potatoes.
Oh.
Ah,
So,
I love mashed potatoes, by the way.
but the job that I had been working for a few years at that point, they were like, girl, you gotta go see Dr. Eaton. And I was like, all right. So I saw this weight loss doctor, and dude, I lost a ton of weight. You remember that?
Fast. Yeah. Well,
We
well,
did
well, well, he,
together.
he put you. Well, he put you on those like whatever pills those were.
Adipex. I
Yeah, that
love
was when
him.
I weighed when you came home from the hospital with Shepherd and we went on that trip with your parents to the mountains. I guess you came home at 211. I was 220, 225 then. So we lost weight together after that. But I
Yeah,
think that's when I discovered fasting, intermittent fasting. I
that's
think I
right.
think I
That's
dropped
right.
about 40 pounds in
Hmm.
a few months.
Yeah, man, we went on a whole thing. We started eating clean,
Mhm.
exercising. I was
So
going,
started going to para, started working out.
yeah, well, and Jillian Michaels, bounce a
Oh yeah,
quarter
Jillian
off your, I want to
Michaels.
be able to bounce a quarter off your ass. That's what she would say. And
She's
I'd be
so
like, yeah,
aggressive.
Jillian.
Dude, yeah, that does not motivate me having that woman yelling at
Dude,
me.
every night in the living room. And we fucking did that shit.
Yeah,
I lost around 80 pounds, I believe.
you absolutely did.
It was like 70,
Close enough.
70 pounds. But it was the smallest I'd been since before Sawyer was born. And I was like, dude, I got into a great place mentally when I
Mhm.
did that for myself. And over the years, I've found that exercise and like not feeling skinny, not feeling like you have to look any type of way, but like feeling healthy, like
Yeah.
I'm taking care of myself, I'm exercising, I'm trying to eat better.
You have a goal and you're working towards something.
Hmm.
People underestimate that, like, however small the goal, setting them, reaching them, setting another one, that
Hmm.
does a lot for your psyche, a lot for your mental health. Something super, super small, like keeping the dishes washed every other day.
Hmm.
If that's a goal you have, like when you do it, You just feel good about yourself. Yeah. I got stuck. Sorry. I think
No,
I glitched out.
I just got really into what you were saying because I was thinking to myself, like, that's one thing that's new in our marriage the
Yeah.
past 9 to 10 months
Yeah.
is we are appreciating the little victories and
Yes.
recognizing them and calling them out because when you deal with any type of stress at a job, poor mental health, a mental health disease,
Mm.
um, you know, everything from like hormonal imbalances to whatever, you feel awful. You feel a certain type of
Yeah.
way. And I don't know. I mean, I forgot what I was saying, honestly.
Set a goal. Reach it.
What were we talking about? It was important.
I just heard one of our children whining in their bed. I think he's having a dream. Did you hear him?
Let's listen. Maybe you guys can
Oh
hear
no.
too.
No, it sounded like a ghost. I don't want to listen anymore. It's-
I don't hear anything. It's probably the dog.
Yeah, I think sometimes Shepard talks in his sleep and he talks to his friends that he's dreaming about. That
Hmm.
could have been what it was.
Yeah. I can't remember what I wanted to say. It was super
It
important.
was about goals and about how we
Yeah,
are
the little
the little
victories.
victories.
When you struggle with these things, right? Whatever it may be, like a victory can be standing up and brushing your hair,
Mm,
you know? Getting up and taking whatever you have in you to take a
yeah,
shower and
yeah.
just that and put on deodorant and go sit back down. Like that's a victory. You have to count the little
hmm
things.
Just waking up at a certain time,
Yeah.
before a certain time, is
Mhm.
huge. Especially if you're, I mean, you've been there where you just getting out of bed seems like the hardest thing you can do,
Mhm.
and just doing it a few days in a row, and you look back like, man, that seemed like the impossible 3 days ago, and I just did that for 3 days in a row, so I
Mhm.
can do anything.
Dude, and I've heard my whole life like make your bed every morning.
Yeah.
I started doing that when when I became a stay-at-home mom. And, even if it was just, like, making the quilt lay flat
hmm
over the bed, but there's something that does for your psyche that
Yeah.
is, like, I can't explain.
I think like visually too, like you see it put together
Yeah.
and you feel put together.
I've
And
never felt that until the past year,
yeah,
but, like, looking at that smooth quilt just, like, laid out, it's like, "Okay, I'm ready.
yeah,
Let's do it."
hell yeah.
Um, wow, we got way off talking about
No,
that, but
no, but that's
it's
important
important.
because you start small and that shit can snowball so fast, and you start reaching higher and higher goals and doing more and more for yourself, and before you know it, you're like, well, shit, I haven't like felt bad in a while because I'm too busy doing shit for myself. I'm
Mhm.
too busy taking care of myself to feel bad,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I think I got to a really good middle place during that time. I don't think that I was taking any medication at that time. I think I was
Hmm.
taking a break from some of that. And we lived really comfortably and happily in that place for a year almost. And then we decided, hey, let's move to the middle of butt fucking nowhere.
Less
Want
than a
to?
year. Less than a year. Shepard was
Yeah,
not sleeping through the night when we moved here.
he turned one after we moved here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, it was
Foster's,
closer.
Alabama.
Yeah. I guess he was a little farther along. Yeah, because it was the summer
Which I
before he
I
didn't
was
leave.
born and raised down here. We live right across the street from the house I grew up in.
Hmm
But we did it because Sawyer was about to start kindergarten. My parents lived nearby, and it was just going to be easier. School commute, grandparents around to help, and we were just tired of living over there on 69.
Yeah, and the school zone was a big thing for us
Mm-hmm.
because we wanted the smaller school zone, and it happened to be the same elementary school that you went to and your brother went to.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happened that Sawyer had the same bus driver that you had when you and Carson were in
We
school.
love you,
How,
Miss
like,
Jax.
yeah, it's just so cool. So it just kind of worked out. There was this house that we could move into. We just
Mm-hmm.
had to make it livable because
Mm-hmm.
it was built in immediately after World War II and hadn't been lived in how many years? 15 years?
Yeah, 1942, this house was built. My dad grew up in this house. It sat vacant for probably 20 to 25 years, and my parents own it. And we came down here and looked at it one day, and I was like, we could live in this house for
Yeah, we can make
free.
this work. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, my parents are good enough to let us live here for nothing since we put the money into like fixing,
And
cleaning it,
to
and
making
all
it
that.
a home, yeah.
We spent a whole summer
Because
just.
it might would have been close to be condemned when we got here. It
Mhm.
was in bad shape.
Yeah, my parents had the bathroom redone a little
Yeah.
bit before we moved here. It was probably
Mhm.
5 or 10 years, but it was still in great condition. And we worked our asses off. We cleaned
Dude.
dead rats, dead snakes,
Mm,
crazy shit you wouldn't even couldn't even
you
fathom
couldn't. No.
the stuff we found. We found some treasures too, though,
Yeah.
like really cool keepsakes from like when
Uh-huh.
my dad was a kid, which would have been the
Pi
60s.
yeah, really old photos.
Yeah,
Yeah, records. Some
records.
cool records.
My mama's little glass Christmas tree. Man, I didn't see it this Christmas. I don't know where I put it. But yeah, we laid all the floors
Yeah, shout out to my good friend Royce. He helped me rip up all the old floors and lay subflooring and do a lot of this stuff.
for
Yeah.
sure. And we'll probably be playing some more of the music that y'all make together.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that would be cool.
Shout out Alitica,
All right.
Grace Holmes, and Darren. Uh-oh, we might need, we'll
He's
text y'all,
probably
make sure
listening. Yeah.
y'all don't care that we say y'all's
If
names.
you listen to this, text me when you hear this.
Um, so yeah, we fixed this house up on just a little bit to get it livable, to get it ready to go, and we moved down here, and what a decision. A great one.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Longer commute to everywhere. No one will deliver food here.
Mm.
But those are the only downsides I can think of. Everything else is really, really great. I love how much room we have. The view's really
Yard.
pretty.
This is a little bitty house, but we love it.
Yeah.
It's like a little cottage almost. It still has the original windows. I mean, this thing is
Yeah.
it's kind of cool and eclectic in a tiny little cottage way. I love it.
We will add on probably at some point.
Yeah. And the kids love it too. I've asked them, like, if y'all could live in a big, ginormous house in town and go to a different school, or live here in this smaller house and go to the school you go to, and every time they're like,
Hmm.
here.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
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 Um,
Lolly's right across the street.
oh yeah, and they can Snyder's old enough to walk over there now, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Um, so during this time I'd been working for a place for years at that point, and I won't say much about it except for I'm thankful for the opportunities that it provided me, the things that it taught me, thankful for the owner of the establishment that was good to me, and
That's about it.
that's all I have to say about that. No,
Because
it's no big
eventually you
deal.
started working from home for that company.
People have asked me if I'm gonna talk about it on here,
Nah, it's not
and I'm
worth it.
like, um, my job that I left in, what was it, November last year? November
Yeah.
2022. Um, I left after 7 years, and I love that job, and I'm just thankful for the experiences that I had, the patients that I got to meet. Gosh, so many cool, awesome people. You know who you are, and uh, some of you guys are following our podcast, and I only know you through Dr. office. That's so cool. Oh shit, I said his
It's
name.
we can fix that.
Yeah, I'll edit that. But
Yeah.
um, it was a rough time. Uh,
It it drained you mentally.
yeah, it was
It was
just
really it was
very.
emotionally straining for you.
Mhm. Yeah, it took a huge hit. My mental health took a huge hit from not at all what the owner required of me. I loved my actual job, the tasks that I had, the things I was responsible for. I made a lot of great connections, so thank you.
Mm.
Which has been great
Yeah.
for lots of different things, but uh my mental health had taken a huge, huge hit, and I had just sat in it for years. And
Yeah, we left some things unaddressed.
mhm,
Just that was something we used to do a lot.
mhm,
Was just something would show its head, and we would fight over it or something, and then we would just bury it.
Right.
Or we would see something, see it might be a problem, and then just bury it,
Mhm.
overlook it.
Yeah, and we had sort of, I think because I was, having a lot of issues with my self-esteem and confidence in myself because of, some things that were going on at the time, um, we slowly grew apart. We started growing back apart.
Yeah, really bad. And you were also still really struggling with what happened in 2014. At
Mhm.
this point, we're 3 or 4 years past that,
Mhm.
and it's still the wound is still pretty fresh
Yeah.
because, again, we're not fixing anything.
Well, and, throughout the years that we're mentioning here now, I mean, I was still seeing doctors on and off,
Mm.
having sort of cycles of, like, mania, deep depression, and then just nothing, and then
Yeah.
mania, and it was just kind of like cycles. I just went in month after month after month. Um, and so I'm still, like, trying different medications, stopping them, trying a new one, seeing a different doctor. It was just, chaotic, but I was really trying to pour a lot of myself into, my job and building this business.
And being a mom,
Mhm.
trying to balance that because you were so dedicated to your children, you
Mhm.
know, like almost to a fault. Like you just
Yeah.
drop anything to do what they need you to do.
Well, and to all the parents that wake their ass up at the butt crack of dawn, get multiple children ready, fed, out the door with what they need, to the correct establishments on time, and then somehow have yourself ready to go for the day and on time to work. Like, we did that together for years, and
Yeah,
it blows,
barely.
I left my previous job in November, and since then I've been doing this freaking podcast and being a stay-at-home mom, which has been such a blessing because I have not
It's
not
awesome.
worked since I was 15 years old. Um, and yeah, I mean, what were you talking about? I'm getting tired, y'all. It's so late.
Having to get kids ready, how
Yeah,
we struggled.
that's right. Doing all these things and being able to do that day after 5 days a week. I mean, that is kudos to all of you guys and pat yourself on the back. That's such a huge accomplishment. Um, and that shit was hard.
Yeah.
And then if you've got, like, one in school, one in daycare, which is where we were at,
Mm.
was, like, so many different buildings I
Dude,
gotta go to
it used to
before.
cause so many fight. We fight every morning, We got to the point again where we just wouldn't interact in the mornings. We would
Yeah,
just avoid each other altogether.
yeah. There was a long period of time there where I would hear my alarm and my eyes would open, and I would just be full of rage. Rage that I had to get up, rage that I don't know, that
Mhm.
I had to go to this
So
place that I
by
was
the time you drop them
miserable
kids
in,
off to school, you're like, I'm about to call this motherfucker Corey and tell him how mad I am about some shit.
and I did.
And he's like, oh shit, Hannah's calling me. What's up, babe? Boom.
Pointer for the women out there. Girlfriend, young, old, wife, whatever you are to your loved one. Uh, don't be doing that shit so early in the morning. Don't call your better half, like, right at the start of their day and bitch them out about something they can't help and then be like, "Yeah, their day'll be fine now."
Yeah, yeah. By the time he talks to me at 5 o'clock, I'm sure he'll be been stewing about that conversation all day.
I would feel so bad too, because I
Well, I
mean,
would hold on to that shit too, which is really immature. But I'd be just stewing all day. Like, God, I can't believe she said that shit. I can't believe why would she say that shit to me
one,
today?
I'm so, like, in the, like, lackadaisical about stuff.
Yeah.
I've described myself before, like, I don't hold on to shit for real like you do, like, as
Mhm.
long. And so,
Yeah.
like, we could have a huge blow up and I'm, like, mad about it, but then I'm on to something else,
Yeah.
and then when I see you again, it's like, "That's wiped clean. Let's."
And I'm like, did you forget what just happened?
Yeah. And every time I'd be like, "What are you talking what's wrong? What are you talking about?" And you're like, when you fucking called me a pussy ass bitch at 8:30 AM." I'd be like, "Oh,
Fuck you.
shit, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Golly, I was
The,
just anxious about work."
the way you fight is so important. Like learning not to be so immature and reactionary is super important because we could have just squashed so much shit by just being like, Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Why didn't you just say that?
Straight up. Or just, coming off of your pride some. Ladies and gentlemen, come off your pride some. Don't be afraid to just be the bigger person sometimes. Even if you know for a fact that you're right, you know for a fact that they did this or they said that. It's not,
Don't
don't sweat
sweat
the
the small
small
stuff.
stuff.
God. See, there we go. We're in it.
Telepathy. That's what happens. No, I'm just playing.
No, that is what happens. When you're with somebody long enough, you get on the same wavelength.
I really do think you do, but
But we've had that since we met.
yeah,
From the moment that we met, we've been doing that shit.
really weird. Yeah, can we talk about that for a second, actually?
Let's.
Because I don't know, do you guys have that happen to you? Like, if you've been married for, or in a significant relationship for, I don't know, a few years, like, you and your partner say, like, the exact same thing or say what the other was thinking, like,
Yeah.
in conversation, but, like, not just quick or, like, generalized,
Like,
specific
yeah.
wording and, like,
It's very specific.
yeah,
Or like we'll just like bring up the same random topic at the exact same time.
yeah.
It's weird.
Or, like, we'll be in the car and both of us at the same time will go, and it'll be, like, the same octave and everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude."
Which goes right back to the person who introduced us saw that before we ever did. They're like, I know somebody who is exactly like you. which
Man.
which a lot of times people say that doesn't work. That it doesn't work in relationships. You can't be too much like somebody. Which we're opposite in a lot of ways. But I think that she just could see that we were just that we were just on the same plane.
Mhm,
We just exist in the same frequency.
mhm.
And it works. I love you for that.
We're on the
Yeah.
same frequency.
Yeah.
That's so cool to think
Mhm.
about that.
And you can tell whenever we start to like veer off, you know.
Mhm.
And it took us a long time to get good at reaching out and grabbing each other and bringing you back in. Like, hey, get back on my frequency. You're fucking up over here. What are you doing?
I just thought of a good analogy.
Hit me.
Men and women are like walkie-talkies,
All right.
but women are on A channel, men are
Mm-mm.
on B channel.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure out who can switch their channel over at different times.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to meet in the middle and get on the same channel.
We
Yeah.
just play it.
We just solved the world's problems. We just fixed sexism.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, world.
Um,
Man.
damn, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like, yeah.
my bladder is
I'm
filling
about to say,
though.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Um, yeah, because we covered all the checkpoints.
Yeah. It's late as
Hello,
fuck.
technology.
I have work tomorrow.
That's how
Mm.
much we love y'all. We want y'all
We
to
don't
hear
get
what we
paid
got to
not a
say
dime for this. This is just fun.
real quick. I've
Hit it.
got to say a couple of really special thank yous. Allie Johnson.
Shout out.
Girl, we go so far back, but you don't know how much the comments and the things that you have said to uplift and just support us in this journey has really spoken something to my heart. And I
Definitely.
really appreciate it genuinely. Like, I was crying like about it the other night.
We read all of them and we talk about it.
I've still got to respond. God, I've been so busy. I've got to respond to comments. But thank you so much. Thank you to our family members who have continued to text us and give us pointers. My cousin Bethany, hey God, thank you for texting me this week. I'm shouting you out because you said you was excited about this episode. So she was trying to get me to send it to you early, but you have to wait.
Yeah.
But soon we're gonna have a way that you can donate to the cause and get them a little early.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Dollar, make us holla. Want your episodes a day early? Send
Heck
us
yeah.
$1.
Maybe 2 days. We'll figure it out. Maybe $2 for 2 days.
$5.
You can watch us record it.
The things would be willing to do for $20.
Hey.
We're mostly joking, but
Not for real.
serious.
How long have we been going? Oh my god.
I know, we did pretty good. We thought
Jeez.
this was gonna be a short episode because we're
Yeah,
so
because I was
exhausted
not
and
ready for
delirious.
this.
But I think it's been awesome. So don't forget to enter our contest. We promise it will be worth it, and it helps us out so much because it helps more people see that we're out there, and it gets more people all over, I guess, the freaking globe now
The globe.
listening to this motherfucker.
Yeah, right now we're hot in the southeast. We got to branch out.
Also, listen carefully. Make sure you read the description of every episode because there may be a hidden message in there.
I don't even know that.
Good luck. It's only been on episode 6 and we'll be on this one. And then Ship to Shore and Saw and Shep, super cute.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting together a little video montage to go with it because it's an audio only episode, but I am gonna have a YouTube version with just like it's gonna be funny.
Eventually, I'd like to get these Ship to Shore with Saw and Shep episodes animated somehow by somebody. I think that would be really, really cool. You think you could do it?
Yeah.
Of course you could.
Well, I need Apple Pencil. I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Or if one of you guys wanna donate to the cause.
What up?
I'm just playing. We don't want anything
box.
right now. The only thing that we want is for the community pantry. If you want to donate to that, we have money set aside that we're saving.
I just want you to share everything. Follow us, tell people about it.
Share. I mean, even just watching the stupid clips that we post.
Yeah.
And feedback is super helpful to us at this point because next week is going to be our last episode of The Story of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're on to...
Story's over. We're done.
Well, on to sort of a new layout. And our story is continuing.
Yeah.
And you guys are all a part of it. So it's kind of cool.
You are. Whether you like it or not.
I was going to say something, but it came up really super creepy like Hannibal Lecter. Y'all like ASMR?
Let's go. Leave me hanging again.
You know?
I thought it was the end. That's 2 episodes in a row you left me hanging up top.
3, actually.
3 in a row!
Bye.